Okay, so we are recording. So sorry, I just wanted to make sure that I'd got everything crossed, and so that if anybody can't get in the meeting, then it's all there. So a really warm welcome tonight to our residential meeting. Hopefully you've got some excited children in the background ready to hear all about it. We will have a part for questions at the end. If you can let me get through things, that'd be great, and then be writing them down as we go along, and we'll happily answer all those at the end. So it's very exciting, our first year 3-4 trip to Whitby at the youth hostel. So we're going on Monday the 28th to Wednesday the 30th of March. We've got a real good programme which we'll show you all about. We'll show you our schedule tonight, and it's really exciting for the children. So as staff, we're really excited, and there's lots of exciting talk amongst the children. So hopefully tonight we'll be able to answer all your questions, and you can find out more. So what we'll cover tonight is the travel, the activities that we're going to be doing while we're there, the sleeping arrangements, a kit list, so what children need, and hopefully there's no surprises there for you. Contacts. Some of you have been emailing questions as we've been going on, so we found out the answers to those, so that was really helpful in preparing for this meeting. So thank you to people that have emailed in, that's great. And then there will be an opportunity from everything that I've spoke about. If something's not being quite answered or anything that you want covering, there'll be time for that as well. So we'll be arriving at the youth hostel in Whitby for 12:30 to begin our activities. So we've sort of planned it that they arrive on Monday the 28th of March at normal school arrival time through the normal classroom doors. So just keep everything as normal as possible. And then we'll go into the hall from there and set off as a group. So we will be setting off at approximately 9:30, and I've put approximately in case you're sort of waving us off or things like that. So don't bank on that time. That's just an approximate time, but hopefully to get there for 12:30 we'll arrive in plenty of time. And I've put some pictures just as we're going through the PowerPoint of the youth hostel and the grounds, and we're really lucky. I mean, if we get weather like that, that would be amazing. But it's set in really nice grounds, so if the children are there, that's where we're staying. So hopefully we'll have lots of nice weather to be able to run all over here and do lots of outdoor activities as well. So lots of people, I know there's been some speculation about who's going, which staff members. Due to obvious reasons, some people can't go. So myself's going as the lead teacher for the residential, followed by Mrs Davison, who's the executive head. Mr Towns coming with us, Mrs Baldwin's coming with us, Mrs Robinson. And then we really thought hard about it, because obviously, unfortunately, as much as they would love to go, Mrs Wright and Miss G cannot attend due to their pregnancies, and being that far in their pregnancy to be able to attend a residential safely. So we did think hard and long about it as a school, what would be best for our children. And our children have been taught by Miss Terry and Miss Fortune in Key Stage 1, so they will be attending with us as well. And we're very lucky that they've said that they will come, and they're very excited about it, and they're on the call today as well. So I've tried to get as many staff members who are attending on the call today as well, just in case you've got any questions at the end that you might want to direct towards those guys. So travel, each group will be, sorry, this is a bit repeated, but we'll leave school around 9:30 on the day of the residential. If they can arrive at normal time, and if they can be in clothes dressed for ready to start the residential, so we don't want them in uniform, dressed in sensible outdoor clothing with all their luggage and everything as well. It's really important that we can have a packed lunch brought with us to eat on their arrival at the centre. So if that can be with them ready for, not in the bags or anything, but in a rucksack or something like that, that would be great. And if they can bring a lunchbox as well, because you'll find out about, oh sorry, someone's wanting to enter. That would be great then, because we're going to have lunches every day, which the centre will provide. But if they've got their own lunch pack, we can just put it in there and it'll be safe, protected. That would be really helpful. And please send enough drinks too, obviously to get them through the coach journey, and then to have with the lunch at the centre as well. Obviously they'll probably provide juice and things, but I always, you know, if they've got a water bottle, it would be really great if a water bottle could be sent with the children with a name on, just like they would have in the lessons, because that'll be really helpful to refill and things as well. And then the set off on home will be on the Wednesday, the 30th of March, on the final day. We should be back and we should arrive at the end of the school day to be collected at normal time. If that isn't the case due to traffic or anything else that crops up, we'll let you know by text message. I'll phone the school office to say, look, we're stuck in traffic. So we'll try and keep communication really tight, but we are aiming to be back at normal time, normal pickup on the Wednesday. If your child's going to after school club, that's fine as well. If you could let your class teacher know as well about that, then it just makes sure that we're really prepared as to where those children. What we'll do is we'll bring them back into the classrooms. If we're back for normal school time, it'll be fine and it'll be through the classroom doors. But I'm just going to say this now, even if we're stuck in traffic and we are a little bit late and you're all waiting outside, it's really helpful if we can get the children in. I know it's easy if we can just get them off, and we might be able to do that, but just for safety reasons and head counts, if we can get them to the classrooms and you're waiting outside those classroom doors, it just makes it easier, and we know we've got everybody then. So that would be really helpful. So a little bit about Whitby Youth Hostel. COVID measures are still in place. Obviously, the cleaning, the hand gel. You know, I know that officially restrictions have been lifted, but they're still making sure that it's COVID safe, and we want to be as safe as possible. It's a beautiful building, and it's just right by the Abbey. So it's right near the steps and the North Yorkshire Moors, which we'll pass through on the way in. And it's just great for where all our attractions are going to be, where we're going to be doing them. We've really thought long and hard about what we wanted to do, and it fits in with our curriculum and our learning opportunities that they're able to have. So the children are in for a great deal about where they're staying, so it should be really lovely. But there's a little bit more information there if you wanted to know. But another really good website. I'd just go on to the Whitby Youth Hostel website as well if you wanted to have a little look after this meeting to explore some of the pictures, some of the grounds, and it's all on there as well. So that'd be great for you to have a little look with your children so that they get used to where they're going. So this is, could someone's just not on mute. Would you just be able to mute yourself just so I've got no feedback? That'd be really helpful. Thanks so much. So the activity schedule, so I've got it all listed so you know exactly what we're doing. When we arrive, we'll obviously do all the checks. We'll do the welcome part, the safety, the fire drill, what happens, and then we'll have our lunch. And then we're going fossil hunting at 2 o'clock. Which fits into really nicely into our science objectives that we're doing in year 3 and 4 this year. Then we'll go into our rooms and unpack, get settled after our great fossil hunting adventure. Then we'll have our evening meal at 5:30. The children have an evening activity to do, and I've made sure we're still as a group. Obviously, that will be with different adults, but we're still trying to have that group experience so that we won't split off into 2 cohorts and then meet back at certain times. We'll be doing all the activities together. We really wanted that sort of feel of being as a group together. And then at 6:30, after our tea and everything's settled, we'll have a challenge or we'll have an evening activity. And on the first night, it's a lighthouse challenge, which is all about teamwork. And then at 8 o'clock, that's when Whitby Youth Hostel team, then they'll leave us and we'll do the night time, we'll do the hot chocolate and a biscuit before we go to bed, and then it'll settle in our rooms. We'll either read and then it'll be lights out. So that's the first day. The second day, a breakfast is at 8 o'clock. Then at 10 o'clock, we're going for a coastal walk. So we'll be looking out for all our science objectives that we've been doing this half term. So it'll fit in really nicely with that. We'll be looking at some of our geography objectives so that it fits in really nicely. We'll go back to the centre. back to the centre at 12:30 for lunch, or we might have our lunches with us at that point, so we'll have them in our rucksacks. Then at 1:30, we've got our Viking swords and shields activity, followed by our evening meal at 5:30. And then at 6:30, we go on a night walk around Whitby with our storyteller. We just thought it fits in really lovely. And obviously there's a lot of walking involved there. So by the second night, lights out very early that night, because hopefully everyone's really tired, but it should be really good. And we've got some backup activities just in case the weather's not too great to be able to do them. So we've covered all angles. And then at 8 o'clock again, finish with some milk or a hot chocolate and a biscuit, and then it'll just be a couple of minutes in our room with our friends just to finish the day, and then lights out. On the 30th, which is our last day, we'll have our breakfast, obviously sort our bedrooms out, get our things packed away, and then we're going down to the beach to do beach art and games. We might have a paddle in the sea at this point. It depends on the weather or what the particular day looks like, but we won't be going swimming, or we won't be entering the water, just because of the safety and the age of the children. So that's what we'll be doing. It will be paddling in a groups at a time. So I think someone sent in a question about will children be entering the water and things like that. Not on this residential, no. So we don't need any swimwear packed or anything like that. But beach art and games should be really fun, and it'll give children a really nice time to be as a team and together. Then we walk back to the youth hostel, we have our lunch and a little break, and then we get back to school. There might be a couple of tweaks to those times, because we do want to be back in time for normal school departure and pickup. So we're aiming to be back on time for that. So that's where we're at with that. So hopefully you can see that it's a really fun schedule with lots of activities which will really enhance our children's learning opportunities and sort of bring everything that they've been learning in the classroom out at Whitby as well. So we're trying to make those cross-curricular links, as well as just providing a great experience.
Miss Kieran, Rosie Ray wants to get in.
Oh, thank you so much. The only thing is, I don't have anyone in my waiting room. She might need to log on. I don't have anyone in the waiting room. Yeah, I don't know who there's no one in my waiting room. I know that I've just let someone in, but could you just try and ask her to log in again, because there's no one in my waiting room? That would be really helpful. Thanks so much. And then just shout again. Normally it keeps popping up. But yeah, just ask her if she could log in again. That would be really helpful. Thank you. So yeah, we've got a really fun schedule packed. There's not a lot of downtime for the children in terms of not really having any activities to do, but we just thought if they're busy all the time, I appreciate that year 3 and 4, it's probably the first residential, it's a long way from home, so the more we keep them busy, it should run really smoothly. Sleeping arrangements. So we sort of got this policy here where we're going to ask them this during this week. So hopefully you can have a chance to chat with your children at home before we do this in classrooms this week. And if there's any issues or anything, please do speak to the classroom teachers about this. But we're going to ask them after the meeting, so that you've had the opportunity to talk to children at home about this. We're asking the children to choose two friends that they would like to be in a room with. Then we're going to sit down with class teachers. I've got her now, she's coming in. There we go, she should be in the room now, thank you. We will ensure that they're in a room with at least one of these, and we will take all friendship groups into consideration when allocating rooms. Now further on, I've got the room allocation, so you can see how many rooms I've got and how many people are in there. They're quite large rooms, but we're not going to reveal who's going to be in that room until we're in Whitby. So they'll find out room allocations when they arrive in Whitby. We've done this in the past and it's worked really well. If you have any concerns about this and you need to speak to classroom teachers, you know, Miss G, Miss Wright, we're putting the plan together on Thursday so that you've got time to talk to your children about who they'd like to be with. And if there's any issues, just come and speak to us and we can talk you through that. That's absolutely fine. But we do know the children quite well. We know the friendship groups, and we'll make sure that all runs really smoothly. I've put some pictures here of the rooms on. So they're in dorms. Some have got oh, someone else is coming in. Some of them have got bathrooms, some of them have got shared bathrooms. They are bunk beds. All the bedding's provided, but I'll talk about that later when we've got the kit list up. It looks really clean, it looks really lovely. They do have some cupboards so that they can put, so when they're unpacking, they've got rooms for all the clothes and things like that. Pillows are there and everything, but I'll talk about, but that I just wanted to put sort of just some pictures on there, and if you wanted to have a look later on with the children, these are all available on the Whitby website as well. Someone's just not on mute. Could I just ask yourself to mute you? Is that okay? Just so that there's no, thanks so much. So here are the dorms here, which we're filling in later on. So you can see, obviously, no children are going to be in the double beds, just to point that out. But you can see that we've got the first floor, how many beds are in there. So we're talking rooms of 6, rooms of 5, 8, 6, 4. So that children will be in rooms with their friends and things. So we've got 2 floors of the hostel. So we've got the first floor, which obviously we're going to do a floor of boys and a floor of girls, and staff members will be on there as well. Because I think one of the questions was, how will the children know if they get upset in the middle of the night, or if they need an adult in the middle of the night? Obviously, we'll run through this where our adult room is on that floor to knock on the door, but we'll have people patrolling the corridors as well. So children will be really cared for, really well looked after. But that's just to be really open with you and just say, look, this is what we've got in the room, so that children will be in rooms with friends, and I can accommodate things. It's not moving on. And then this is the second floor, but again, the double beds, no children up. I probably won't even put them in those rooms. They could be the staff rooms, and then these are all here. So kit list. So we've got a kit list to send home tomorrow, but hopefully there are no surprises in there. I know people have been asking for them, but again, I don't think there's anything that I'm going to throw up here that you've got to go dash out and get. Please, can we ask that all luggage is named? That would be really helpful, especially when we're trying to throw things back in at the end of the day, and who does this belong to? It'll just be really easy if everything's named as wherever possible. I've talked about a water bottle that can be refilled, and a rucksack for daytime activities, and to put their packed lunch in the next day. Now, this is a really important one. If your child's got any medication, please can it be labelled really clearly with your child's name on it, and hand it to an adult on the morning of your child's trip. It'll also be, if they do have medication as well, we want you to fill a form in as soon as possible, maybe this week, just highlighting, what that medication is, what it needs to be done. And Mrs. Baldwin's on the call as well tonight. Mrs. Baldwin and Mrs. Robinson are our first aiders on there. If there is something you think, I just want to talk this through with an adult, before they go, I'm a little bit worried to make sure, because you're dropping off your most precious items with us for the residential. So I've spoke to Mrs. Baldwin, and she said that she's on the door in the reception every day meeting children. If you want to run anything past her, she's there. She'll be with your children on the residential, and if it just makes you feel a little bit better about having that chat about, this is how it runs, this is what they need, Mrs. Baldwin's there to be able to do that any day up until when we go to the residential. So please don't worry about any medications, and do go have that chat with Mrs. Baldwin just to run through things. But if you can get that form from the office, or ask her, we'll have some on the doors tomorrow. If you do need a form, if we could get that form in ASAP, that'd be better, then we can get our heads around it as well and just know exactly what we're doing. We've talked about the kit being named, just because we want to make sure that everything lands back with your child, and that you're not coming home on that Wednesday, things aren't there or things are missing. We'll do our best to be really tight, making sure that things and kit gets back to the right child. So I've just put some general things out here. So they do need a day bag or a rucksack. Now, when I was writing this on Friday night, I was like, well, fingers crossed, we need sun cream and we need a sun hat and all those things granted, which would be really lovely. So please cross your fingers that we do need all those things. But we need to be thinking of all weathers. We live in England, you know what the weather's like. So a waterproof coat or a warm coat, or if the sun's, you know, a jacket that they're going to be warm in, or something that they're not going to be too hot in. I've put trainers wellies or walking boots. We're doing a bit of walking, but again, weather dependent, so we're going to have to judge it on that. They do need a towel. That's really important that they have a towel with them for showers and things, and to have a wash in the morning and an evening. So we definitely need towels. It might be they need a bath towel, a shower, you know, so when they've had a shower, and then a hand towel when they do the teeth and things. So that would be really handy. I've put here hat, scarf, gloves, sun hat, sun cream. Who knows what we'll need by the end of March? We've had really glorious sunshine when we went into lockdown before, haven't we? So we'll have to judge that on the weather nearer the time. Drinks bottle, please. Medication if needed. We've talked about that. If we could have clothes for the day and the evening, again, depending, we could have shorts, we could have trousers. It just depends on the weather, I guess, but they need something. And if we could have a couple of spare sets of clothes, just in case anything happens, that would be really helpful. And then if they could have some indoor shoes as well, they might want to bring slippers, but a pair of indoor shoes would be really helpful as well, just in case we get a bit muddy or a bit wet, and then they need something for the youth hostel. Socks, underwear and pyjamas. They need toothbrush and toiletries, hairbrush. And then I've just put optional things here really. Torch, you know, because for that nighttime walk, it might be exciting that they have their own torch. It might make it a bit more fun. Paper and pens if they want to write a diary, or they want to just sort of note down some activities, or for hangman, notes and crosses, things like that for games that they might want to play. If they bring a teddy, if they have a teddy at home, you know, they're welcome to bring that if that'll help them settle in the evening. I've put double or a small game. I love a game of double. So if you've got double, you put it in your suitcase. We'll have a game of double before we go to bed. Or if they've got, you know, a travel game that they might like to bring, you know, while, you know, if they're settling down in the evening and they want to have a little game, that's great as well. So and then obviously it wouldn't be right without saying a book on there, you know. And some kids might be going, I'm not taking a book, but it might be nice, you know, just before we go to bed, that they settle down and they just read a little bit of the story. So they're just optional things. So hopefully you've got a real good idea of what they need there. Now, they don't need pillows, they don't need duvets, they don't need sleeping bags. It's all there for them. So that's been stressed by the centre when I spoke to them about what children need. We definitely don't need, but they do need a towel. That was one of the things that they said people often forget. So definitely a towel. They're not allowed mobile phones or any other electronic devices, please. So please do not send them, because if we find them, they will be confiscated. Please, now this is really, really important, and you might think I'm being an absolute killjoy here, but I'll explain further. Please do not send your children with any sweets or any snacks that are not for their lunch on their arrival day. We've got the menu coming up, so you'll know that it's a good menu and it's absolutely fine. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because I know on a residential, I'll just put you some sweets in there, or I'll put you some extra biscuits in case you're hungry. And I completely get where you're coming from, but it's so important because this is strictly adhered to. Because we've got children that are coming with us that do have severe allergies, and we would be severely putting them at risk if things are snuck in or things are in their rucksacks and things that are not for their lunch on that first day. So I'm being really strict here, and really, as a parent, please do consider that we've got children with severe allergies and it's putting them at risk. And then it would mean that if something happened and we didn't know that those snacks had been in there, or someone's got hold of them and someone's eaten one, then it means that it could be a trip to the hospital, and then that's taking one of us away from there. I'm just trying to really, really make my message clear there about, please, we've done all our risk assessments and we've done a serious job of this, but it's really, that is one of our serious ones on our risk assessment, that no other food is brought in by any other child. And it's just really important that that sticks. So if it is found, it will be taken away, and they will get it back when we're back at school. But I'm doing a massive plea here that that's strictly adhered to, and I appreciate your help with that. But that would be really helpful, that nothing extra is put into suitcases. Thanks for your understanding with that one as well. So because children, obviously they won't have any contact with you while we're there, and please don't ring the centre unless an emergency. If there is an emergency, then I would like you to contact the school first when school's open. Sorry, excuse me. When school's open, and if it's something where you can't get through on the lines, if you could email Willesden support if you're really needing to get in contact with us, because someone will be monitoring that all the time. But please don't ring the centre. So please use the forms of communication that you would do as if we were at school. Phone the school office, they'll get in touch with us. If it's out of hours, email Willesden support and they can get hold of us straight away. We will try to update Facebook and Twitter, but this is not always possible, and I don't want to promise this because, you know, we are looking after the children and that's our main interest. We will definitely put an arrival picture on and a departure picture. We are pretty good at putting photographs on there, so we are aiming to do that, but if obviously we're tied up with the children, that's our priority. So please do keep a lookout for the social media channels and you see some of the activities that are happening. We will try and do that as often as we can, but again, the main priority there is looking after the children. Right, so food options. So I've got the whole menu for the time that we're there. What we're going to do is we're going to send out a form for you to fill out this week. And if you could discuss this menu with your children at home, that would be really helpful, and then fill in the form with us. It'll just help our food orders. So breakfast, Tuesday and Wednesday. Oh, if someone could just put themselves on mute, that'd be really helpful because I can't see who it is. Breakfast Tuesday and Wednesday, so there's the option there of continental, and they can also have a cooked breakfast as well. So you're lined up for quite a good breakfast to children if you're listening. Our packed lunches for the day, these are the options. So simply ham, simply cheese, egg mayo, cheese and onion, chicken mayo, tuna mayo, egg and cress, chicken and sweet corn, tuna and sweet corn. And in the packed lunch, there'll be a bag of crisps, a biscuit bar and a piece of fruit. So they've got to decide what they want. If you can just do a Monday option for me as well, just in case that they are offering one. I will find out more, but when you do fill in the form, if you can just put Monday as well, I'm sure that's why I've asked you if you can have a packed lunch as well. That would be really good, because I think that our lunches start from the Tuesday and the Wednesday, but just in case. And then our evening meals, so on the Monday there's a choice of macaroni cheese with garlic bread, and there's a salad bar there as well. Jacket potato with cheese and beans, garlic bread, and then an option of salad bar. And then the desserts are chocolate brownie, choc ice or fresh fruit. So that's Monday evening. And then we've got Tuesday evening, which is we had a bit of a giggle about this. Red tractor pork sausage with gravy, mash and vegetables. Vegetarian Cumberland sausage with gravy, mash and vegetables. Jacket potato with cheese and beans, garlic bread and salad. And then the options of mini donuts with salted caramel sauce, choc ice and fresh fruit. And we've got some... obviously, we've packed some extra snacks and things that are absolutely suitable for all children and that are not going to interfere with our allergies and things like that. So we have got those as extra as well. So it's quite a good menu. If there's anything on there that you're struggling with, and could you just speak to your class teacher, that would be really helpful. And we can have a look about how we might be flexible with that, but that's where we're at the moment with our menu. So I do believe it's quite a good menu, that there'll be something on there that your child likes. So yeah. So we've got some emailed questions. So I've still put them on there, even though we've answered most of them, but just to show that we've addressed them. So how many children in a room? It's going to depend on which room they're in, because obviously the rooms are all different. What do they do if they need an adult in the night? Obviously, we'll show them when there'll be adults on the boys' floor, on the girls' floor. We'll show them the rooms that we're in, and then obviously they know where we are at any point. Is the hostel open to the public, and how do we ensure the children are safe during the evening? So I had to we've just phoned the hostel just to double check all these questions. As far as we're aware at the moment, there are 5 public bookings at Whitby Youth Hostel. What we've got is they've got 3 floors. They've got the mezzanine floor where people sleep, and then they've got the 1st and 2nd floor. So Willesden Primary School have got the 1st and 2nd floor directly accessed just for our children. It's a key pass to get on, which only our adults from our school will have. It's a key pass to get out. So children cannot get in and out without an adult. No one can get in as well onto our sleeping floors. The children will be with us all the time during the day, so nobody will interfere in our classes or anything like that. We've got our own sort of living room area, lounge area where no public can get to us as well, because it's Willesden Primary School. It's all on our risk assessment, so the children are absolutely safe. Which teachers are going? We've obviously mentioned that at the beginning. So you're aware of who's going. The children can choose their own meals. There's going to be a form that Mrs. Wright's going to send out. So if you could have a little discussion, and then the form will go out tomorrow. And I think it might be via your Teams page, your class Teams page, or it'll be via email, but that'll be coming out tomorrow. Who is providing the activities? That was Whitby Youth Hostel. They're trained staff. They're all first aid trained as well. And then there'll be us guys there. We've got Mrs. Robinson, Mrs. Baldwin, and Mr. Town, who are all first aid trained as well. So we've got our own with us as well. And Mrs. Robinson and Mrs. Baldwin are doing the medication. Is there a clear schedule? Yep, I've outlined it all there for you. So there's nothing that I'm hiding from you. That is what we're doing throughout the time that we're at Whitby. And obviously I've really iterated that. Are children allowed to take snacks on the trip? The answer to that's no, and that's just due to our allergies that we've got, our children that are going on our school trip, and it's really, and I'll just stress it again, it's so important that is strictly a data, and we thank you for your understanding with that. There were some questions that were emailed I did this on Friday night, so I do apologise that these are on here, and I've just received these this morning. So if the children are upset and want to come home, what happens? Well, you'll see that the schedule is so packed that not every child is going to have an amazing time, but I completely understand. And then it was followed, are parents allowed to pick up? Are they allowed to ring home, speak to parents on a teacher's phone? If someone could it's just a bit, that's it, brilliant, thanks. Obviously, we'd have to judge that on a individual child basis. We're not going to leave any child distraught, and I think the first thing that we would do if a child is really distraught, obviously we come into our, co-parent, I think is the word. So we'd obviously step into, we'd try and make your child as comfortable as possible, try to calm them, try to soothe them before we even got in touch with you, because sometimes they settle down straight away. We've got some activities there. We've already put them on our plans. We've got some things where they can just come away one-to-one with us, and we can just see if that distracts them and it settles them down. Obviously, at that point, if that's not working, then obviously it would be a phone call just to have a little chat, just see. But that's the worst case scenario. If we cannot settle them at all, then obviously we would ask you to come and get to them. But that is worst case scenario, really. And we've tried to plan the schedule so tightly that there's so much going on for the children for them to enjoy that won't happen. But that's where we're at with that. So if there's anything else that you're concerned about and I've not answered that as clearly as you thought I might have done, do come and speak with me, and I'll just I'll go through that a bit further. How many adults per child are going? Well, we've got 7 adults, so I think we've got 10. We've got groups of 10. I think there's 68 children going. We've got, off the top of my head, we've got groups of 10. We've obviously talked about, will they be allocated a room with their friends and what stuff do they need to bring? So we've talked about that as well. And that is about everything. And then this is a point now where if there are any questions, and I'll just bring the chat up now in case anyone's typed anything in. When will the rooms be allocated? It might be good to know the rooms before they go. So we've I don't know if you've just joined in a little bit later to that. They're going to so we're asking them to choose 2 friends that they'd like to be in a room with, and then we'll find out that the children will find out in which room they've been allocated. So we're sitting down as a Mrs. Wright, Miss G, myself, you know, working on the rooms, knowing the children's friendships. So we'll do that. You know, we know the children inside, we know the friendship groups. We'll make sure they're in with a friend. And I think the thing that why we say we're going to tell them in Whitby, because sometimes it's just really important that it just works better, and then there's no comeback from that. I guess it does work. Those 2 are really good questions that I've completely forgotten to answer there. Can they take a camera? I'll come back to you on that one, because we've got loads of GDPR rules. If there's another if there's pictures with children that are out loud on, etc. I'll come back to that one when I've found out the answer. I would love for them to take a camera because I think it's memories, but I'll come back and just make sure if we're allowed that one. Do children need any spending money? We've said no at this point, because with the activities, there's going to be no time to walk in the shops with them. And we were just thinking the restrictions, if only so many children, then we just don't have the time with everything that we've got planned. So no, they won't need spending money, but great questions. Thanks for those. I forgot to put those on. Is there any, is it Marcus, have you got your hand up? Do you want to take yourself off mute for me?
Hi there.
Hiya.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to ask, I know they can't bring their own snacks, but just looking at the evening meals, are they allowed to bring their own evening meal if they wasn't interested in that menu?
If I can speak to you directly about that one, I'll give you a call about that one if that's all right, because obviously we can't. I don't think there's I don't think we've got the room in the fridges to be able to do that for the children. But if you speak to Mrs. Wright in the morning, just with your concerns about that, that would be great.
Okay, that's fine. I can do it. Yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is it one form for every medication? Mrs. Baldwin, you're here, aren't you? You know about this, where are you? Can you take yourself off mute and answer that question for me, Mrs. Baldwin?
I can, yes. It is one form per medication, yes. So if it's an inhaler and travel sickness tablets would be 2 forms.
Well, thanks so much. But Miss, if you do have any worries about that, that's just another thing. Please do come and see Mrs. Baldwin, and you can just have a chat with her in about how it's done. And I know that if I was a parent, I'd feel a bit better about doing that. So please don't. That opportunity is there as well. And just to end, I think I've tried to look at everybody's questions, and I think I've answered everything. I'm sorry if I've missed anything. We just want to say that we're so excited. You know, we've been 2 years where we've been locked down. No, we can't leave the floor without a key pass. I've made sure and I've double checked that. No, absolutely not. No, that was one of my, safeguarding is the ultimate priority there. No, absolutely not. They can't get on, they can't get off. It's got to be one of our adults, and no one can get in either. I've double checked that. We just want to say that we've had 2 years of being under COVID restrictions. We are so excited about this residential. You know, we really hope that it's going to be I suppose I remember the residential I went on when I was at primary school in year 4. We went to Airedale, and I've still got really fond memories of the activities we did. And, it's our jobs as teachers to make it so exciting for your children. And we are really excited for them to attend. And we hope that they've got loads of stories to bring back and remember it for life, really. So thank you. A massive thank you to parents, because I know that, they are your precious items that you're giving us for 3, so precious. We are going to look after them really well, and we're going to give them a trip of a life, you know, not a trip of a lifetime, so not going to Disney or anything like that, but we're going to make it as fun as possible for them. So thank you for letting them go. Thank you for trusting us. Yeah, and it will be uploaded for those who missed the beginning. And if there's anything that you missed at the beginning, you want just answering it even further, come and see me tomorrow. I'm on the door, and we'll try and answer the things that we can. But thank you so much for letting them go. And children, if you're listening, I hope that you're so excited to go now. We've got such a fun activity schedule packed for you. I know I can't wait. And I know that Miss Fortune and Miss Terry and Mrs Davison and Mr Town, Mrs Baldwin, Mrs Robinson are so excited. And I'll let you into a little secret. Mrs Wright and Miss G are so disappointed, and they're going to miss out on so much. I can tell by Miss G's face. They would have really loved to come, but we're really excited to take you. So not long to go. I think I'm going to get my how many sleeps left to go. So kids, if you're at home, get those countdowns on the go, and we will see you very soon. Thanks so much for joining us. And if there's anything that we've missed, come and speak to us in the morning or on the door. Thanks ever so much. Take care. Have a lovely evening. I'll stick around just in case anybody wants to chat privately or anything like that. Thanks so much for joining us.
Marcus, so which industry to deliver to pizza?
All right.
I missed David. Can I say? Oh, sorry, go on. Let's she's finished. Can I ask you a question?